We have the MD CEO of Oyaoya app, Mr. Khalil Halilu. Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you? First of all, Oyaoya is Africa's first commodity on-demand marketplace. Not just any marketplace that you can go to a web browser and search for an item to buy for it to be delivered the next day or 2 days later, but it makes transactions happen on demand. Just similar to the likes of Uber, Taxify, and co. Picture yourself on a Sunday evening and you run out of cooking gas and you need it delivered immediately. And probably the vendor that you usually buy from is in the church, you know. So this is where Oyaoya comes in. It's an app that connects not just vendors and customers, but also transporters of commodities, whereby it allows you to place an inquiry for a particular commodity, and then it shoots out that inquiry to those vendors that offer those commodities, and they can respond to your request immediately and then fulfill your order. Well, with the aid of connected technologies, the use of GPRS and mapping, once you place an inquiry, it goes out to the nearest vendors around you. And that is what enables the delivery rapidness. We don't warehouse, we are just a marketplace. We connect you to the nearest vendors and just set the trading rules so that we make sure that both vendors and customers are treated equally. We have a data analysis system, our analytics that help us understand where the trend is going to. For example, we have farming season, most especially up north in the country, whereby you see a lot of trucks coming down south empty, which we believe they can take product from south up north and then still take product back to south, you know. So with the help of a technology like this, it helps the owners of the trucks connect with farmers and commodity traders, for most especially agricultural commodities, and vice versa, so that they save costs. Because what we found out mostly is transporters of products like cement, they usually do their calculation having in mind that their truck is coming back empty, which makes it a little bit more expensive and to the final customer. But if through a technology like this, farmer can connect to, for example, a truck that carries cement and bring back rice down south, then things are going to be much better. We partner with various associations that are professional in the business, and we made it clear that our areas of specialization is tech, and we are not trying to teach all these people how to do their business, but just to bring an enabling environment to make it easier for them. So we've partnered with the likes of NATO, which they own about 70% of the trucks in the country today, and we've categorized trucks based on the kind of goods they carry, the ones that carry wet cargo, dry cargo, petroleum, and different kind of products. So based on the kind of inquiry a customer places of the kind of product he needs to move from one point to another, the system will automatically segregate what kind of trucking facility you need. If it's cold storage, if it's dry cargo, if it's petroleum, and for petroleum, is it diesel, kerosene, or LPG? And then it connects you with that kind of that kind of transporter that has that facility. And also, additionally, we make sure that transporters have good in-transit insurance and fidelity insurance to make sure that whatever goods we have on transit are safe until delivered to the final user. We have insurance that covers for perishable, so if anything happens like that, you will get a refund using our platform. Yeah. We understood that there are a lot of controversies about doing business or buying things online in terms of quality and so on and so forth. So we put this escrow feature to ensure that both parties have a balance. And the way this escrow system works is, for example, you order rice and you've given your specification, and you just want to make sure that you're not beating a third party person through a platform like this that will run away from your money. So whatever payment you make is going into our escrow account and is not transferred to the vendor until he delivers your goods to you. And what we do in return is we give you a PIN for each transaction you've initiated, for each payment you've done. And once you meet the vendor and you confirm that this is the product you've ordered, he will enter that PIN in his app and immediately the money will drop in his wallet. And if there is any shortage, for example, you order 10 bags and he delivers 9 bags, the system will automatically sort out the shortage, send you back your refund of 1 bag, and then the 9 bags payment to the vendor that supplied the bags to you. The reason why we call it customer vendor, because we don't want to restrict the size of products you trade on our platform. We just want to have a marketplace that no matter how small or how big your products are, you can sell it, and no matter how small or big products you want, you can have access to it. The way it's designed is like walking into a market, you know. If you go, you can decide you want to buy a bag, or you want to buy a small mug, or you even want to buy something as small as a cup, you know. So it all depends on you being able to get a vendor that will respond to your request. So whatever request you want to put, if it's 1 kg or 1 ton, will allow you to put it. But it also depends on vendors willing to respond to that kind of request. But as much as possible, we try to bring all sort of vendors, from wholesalers to retailers, so that to ensure there is flexibility and customer satisfaction at the end of the day. Just to touch a little, just to go a little bit backward before answering your question, we understood, and it is truly agreed all over the world, that if you're talking about resources, Africa is the place to go in terms of resources. But the big puzzle here is, why is there so much poverty in a continent like this? There's so much gap between Africans and their resources. And which brings us to your question. And we found that the key thing is the lack of information between what you own. For example, if you go to a place like the Middle Belt, you see a farmer, there's good climate, you can plant things like strawberries and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, the farmer doesn't know where, how, or who to sell, and at what price to sell it, and which is a big problem, you know. So through this platform, we've partnered with Nigerian Commodity Exchange Commission and other stakeholders within the industry, and we provide market information on the app for both the buyer and sellers of commodities, just to make sure there is a balance. Because we found out that there are some commodities that are overpriced and there are some that are underpriced. For example, during tomato season, if you go up north, you can buy a basket for 1,000 naira, you know. But if you come down south, it's close to 40,000, which the gap is too wide, and you keep questioning why. But if we, and also there are no good storage and things like that. Even though the farmers know that these items are going to rot, but they are not making enough profit to invest into storage facilities and so on and so forth. But if there's a platform like this giving them information, then they'll be able to sell their product as far as they can and make a good margin, and then go back to invest into better production and better storage facilities. So that is how we work in terms of giving information, not only to farmers, but to commodity traders, commodity aggregators, oil marketers, and so on and so forth, just to make sure there is a balance. For now, what we try to do is connect them with the nearest port, because different countries have different regulations in terms of export and importation of different products. Most especially if you go to agricultural products, they're a little bit sensitive with quality and so on and so forth. But essentially, first of all, the main problem we understood we have in the country now is within the country, to try to balance how commodities move around the country and then across borders. There are a lot of white people or foreigners coming into the country and they are looking for products, but they don't know where to start. But if they have a platform like this, they can sit down in the comfort of their hotel and access any commodity seller across the country. And with the help of the escrow payment system, they can be sure of quality, We are doing within countries in different African countries. But on our second phase of our development, we are going to go across borders. But first of all, we work around within the countries and then engage governments in terms of what policies are needed to do cross-border trading, and then we'll open the door immediately for that. What our app will do is bring up about a fair market trade, because once you have more people in an ecosystem participating, there will be more competition. And when there is more competition, it's to the benefit of the customer, whereby you have good pricing and the best quality for your product. No, it won't affect, because we are an open marketplace. We have nothing to do with government regulation. In fact, we complement government because if you talk about taxation, now that everything is done electronically through the banks, it is easier to know how the goods are being moved around the country. It will help them in data analysis, in terms of policy making, and so on and so forth. And most importantly, going cashless. The biggest block for people that transact with cash are in the commodity sector. And with this kind of escrow payment and our wallet payment system, it sort of bring farmers, commodity traders closer to the digital economy as far as digital money transaction is concerned. So our app only complements the government efforts. It has no in any way going to clash with what they have here.